What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Shifty Crab Podcast, where three transatlantic best friends sit down and just talk about life, love, and the pursuit of happiness. I am your host, Vince, and joining me today is the Retro King himself, Jedi Pun Master General himself, Terry Jeffs. How you doing, Terry?
I'm good. I'm feeling a little bit retro myself today, though. I feel a little bit old, creaking about. I've got a cold, feeling sorry for myself. My back's hurting. I'm really approaching that kind of mid-30s feeling, really just getting into that role today. But I'm good. You know what can make me feel better? Yeah. It's podcast day. Let's go. I've got a brewski, got my bros. Let's talk.
It is podcast day. See, when you started off there, I thought it was a reference to the Sonic shirt. But yeah, that makes sense. Feeling old.
What's that?
Feeling retro.
I'm always feeling retro. You know me. Yeah, I've got repping the Sonic the Hedgehog right there since 91. You know, come on.
Oh, yeah. Come on. 91 year I was born. Fun fact.
Gotta go fast.
Anyway, gotta go fast. Speaking of going fast, we are also joined by, I don't know.
I'm gonna come back to
going
that.
Fast. We're absolutely going back to that.
I mean, that's what we heard. That's what we heard.
Oh, yeah. That's what we heard. Gotta go fast. Yeah. How do you think his wife got pregnant? Anyway, the debating, dominating. It's already off the rails.
It's a good beer over the keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't expecting that. Shots fired. Right? Okay.
It's Adam Berry, everybody. It's Adam Berry.
Hello.
How you doing, Adam? Welcome to the podcast.
Okay, until I was just brutally murdered at the beginning of this podcast. I was doing all right. Feeling a bit hot. It's quite a toasty day in old London and Peterborough and England and all of that. So,
God, it's hot.
Yeah, my balls are on fire, but I'm ready to go.
Ready to go, everybody. Well, obviously, we can't start the podcast off until we know what you're drinking. Adam, what you drinking?
I'm drinking this special drink. You may have never heard of it, but obviously you will have. I am drinking San Miguel.
San Miguel.
The Cerveza from Spain.
Nice.
Little Spanish love here.
It's the coldest thing in the house. So,
well, makes sense. Terry Jeffs, what you drinking there, Terry?
I will see your San Miguel, Adam, and I will raise you a Birra Moretti from Italy.
Ooh.
I've been thinking about this all day. It's been so goddamn hot in this country, Vince, and no one can take heat, like us. We complain about our weather all the time, and as soon as it's hot, we complain about it. So, and it's been unbelievably hot, and I've been thinking about this ice cold bottle of beer. I'm going to enjoy it.
You enjoy
I don't
that
think you understand how hot it is, Vince.
How hot is it?
We have to do the maths, but so far, I think the hottest it's got to, I think, was Sunday at 31 degrees Celsius. So I think that's circling above 90.
That's about 87 degrees Fahrenheit. So
yeah, but you round it up. So let's say 100. Well, and it's but the difference between us and you is, for one, you're used to it, and two, your houses and structures are all built to keep cool, like aircon in houses and units. That's not a thing here. Our houses are to keep us warm. Yeah, that's so everything the thing. Is insulated.
There's no aircon here. No aircon here. You just got to deal with it. You just deal with it. In fact, that's what I love about this room, because this is the garage in this house, and it is the coolest place in this whole house. It's so nice. Like, it doesn't get hot in here. Doesn't matter how hot it is.
In there?
No.
I've got perfect.
Yeah, it's just no windows. I've put in some some vents and an extractor if it ever gets too hot from my own machines or anything like that. But it's always so cool in here. It's lovely.
I'm jealous. This room is not like that. It's like a greenhouse.
It's in an enclosed heat box.
You remember, Vince, when your aircon nearly set on fire and you couldn't use it?
Yeah.
Imagine that in every room of your house every day, and no way of changing that. because aircon units just don't really. They're not something you can go buy them, but they'll be ridiculously expensive.
Oh yeah,
and
like you get
shit.
the ones. Yeah, there's the ones that you can get, like you said, and I've tried them, and they are terrible.
They're terrible. We don't know how to do it over here, so it is awful, god awful. It's not like the sun when you're abroad on holiday.
Yeah,
you can go back to an air-conditioned hotel room whenever you want.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is America better. Got it.
In this one instance, yes.
So for reference, it is 5:50 p.m. here in the U.S. and it is currently 81 degrees outside. There's a spot outside of my house right now at 5 o'clock, and it is right now in your office.
Mm-hmm. But the difference is, in my office, it is nearly 11 p.m.
Mm.
Oh, it's not
and you're
natural,
melting,
Vince.
No, nothing about that is natural.
No,
it's unfortunate.
It's not natural.
No.
But what are you drinking anyway?
Blue Moon? Come on. Blue Moon, absolutely. So, funny story about these. I had 10 of these over the weekend. And Saturday night, I have two. I have two now. Saturday night got a little bit crazy because last week was pretty rough too. So I needed those 8 Saturday night. Oh,
the blue moon was out.
The blue moon was out, and I was not feeling great Sunday morning.
I imagine because they've got a bit of a kick to them, Blue Moon.
Oh yeah, they've got. What do we have here? Like what? 5% alcohol, 5.4% alcohol per volume.
5.4. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I've never tried that. I would like to have to get you've bigged it up so much now. It's like it's on a pedestal. It's got a lot to live up to. So when I'm trying this, it's got to be good.
You always have to have
potato,
it.
So we never steer you in the wrong direction, Terry.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. See, the thing is, you got to have it with an orange slice, no matter what.
Potato.
Like, oh wow.
No, the Blue Moon. Come on now. Always with an orange slice, every time.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't have any oranges in the house, so I'm not.
Like
orange slice. Yeah.
It's like drinking a Corona without without a lime. That's like sacrilege, isn't it? It's like, who would do that?
Oh, absolutely. Who would do that? Anytime you get served Blue Moon at a restaurant, they always serve it with the orange slice. If they don't, fuck that restaurant, never go back.
Close them down.
Shut them down. Yeah.
In the land of the Americas, do you have Desperados?
Desperados, like the people or the drink?
No, the drink.
What are the people? Tell me what the people.
Desperados. No, the drink.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know.
The Desperados is a bit like a Corona. So it's that sort of lager, but it has tequila already in it. But it's just a bottle of beer, but it's beer and tequila mixed together.
And lime flavoring, right?
It's already got the lime flavor in there. They are good.
They are good. Yeah, they are strong.
Yeah.
I remember when they first came out and I was drinking, I was like, oh my God, these are my favorite thing ever. But they are serious. You can't be drinking them all night.
No, absolutely.
They're a pre-drink.
Anything tequila, no. You do not need to drink that all night. Or bad decisions will be had. Mm-hmm. Of course. Speaking of bad decisions, a little bit of housekeeping. Clearly, some people have made bad decisions to not watch our content. So absolutely, go over to our YouTube channel if you're not already there. Check out our previous podcasts as well as our news breaks hosted by the one and only Terry Jeffs himself. Got any good news for us today or this week, Terry?
Do you know what? I don't know if there has been any. I mean, Kotaku's just being a shit again, really.
My God, Kotaku.
There's that. And
every day.
All I've been doing, like in terms of like gaming news, is just reading up on all the impressions on the Steam Deck, which looks, I've got to say, guys, it's looking good. It's looking good. But yeah, and like so funny, like everyone complaining about it. And then literally then just like everyone pre-ordering it, of course, because gamers be gamers. But no, other than that, I don't know if there's anything else big that's happened, but we shall see on Thursday.
We shall see on Thursday. Stay tuned for that Shifty Crab news break.
Well, there will be news because Thursday is also EA Play.
It is. And we'll see what they have to show.
We'll find out.
Yeah, will there be news?
They're going to reveal. Well, they said they're going to reveal. They're bringing back a game, aren't they? So we'll find out what that is. If it is Dead Space,
yeah. If it's not Dead Space, I mean, we riot. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Unless
absolutely.
caveat Fight Night, I'll take.
Yeah.
But yes,
That's
I
true.
would. Yeah, I don't. They've got a few games they could bring back, so be interesting to see. But anyway, that's for the news. We talk about games news on the news.
Yeah.
We talk about games news on the news, but here we talk about what you've been playing. Let's start off with, you know what, Terry? What you been playing? Any new games after God of War?
So I had a little dabble back into God of War, and I went home because I had to see this for myself, with my own eyes, and yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
That really was like an end credits Marvel scene, wasn't it? Because
So good.
yeah, it was like that must have been really cool to do that and not know anything. I mean, obviously I didn't know what was actually going to happen, but there must have been a cool little kind of not an Easter egg, but like an extra little bit of a story. But it was strange how they did it in that, like, you kind of go back to your home, and obviously spoilers here if you haven't played God of War, stop listening. But when you actually go and choose to kind of lie down, and then it says several years later, and then you see that whole scene, and then that ends, and then you get in credits, and then it goes present day again. It's like, weird. But I guess obviously you're kind of seeing a possible future where they're wearing exactly the same clothes when you just went to bed, which is strange. But yeah, like it was interesting, and I'm intrigued to see what their version of Thor is going to be like. And I loved the way they played up the whole Ragnarok thing, you know, with what's his name? Head, who's on you?
I
can't think of his name. But he says, like, basically since when you went to the highest peak, whatever, years have passed, and it's brought Ragnarok on and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, we're getting straight into this. This is like, I didn't realize it was gonna kind of lead directly into it. I thought, like, obviously before playing the game, I thought Ragnarok is just something that everyone was, people were just guessing where that was going to be going next. I know obviously they did the whole teaser reveal and they showed the logo, which they still have not revealed the name. I'm pretty sure that. I know we said about this before. There's not been an official name of the next God of War yet. Everyone's just assuming it's called Ragnarok, but nothing has been announced by.
In the delay message, it says God of War Ragnarok will be delayed.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure. You keep talking. I'll go find proof.
But anyway, I didn't realize just how much they were just kind of setting that up in this one, just to kind of go straight into that. So yeah, it's cool. But I haven't played any more of it. I was looking at all the kind of different things that you can do. Obviously, you got the Valkyries and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm definitely going to return to it and do all that stuff because, again, I just enjoyed playing it so much. I just want to do all the extra stuff. Especially, I know what's going to happen. We're going to get the trailer for Ragnarok, and then I'm going to be like, oh man, I'm going to jump back into this now, And I'm not going to want to start a new game. I'm just going to want to jump in from exactly where I am, and then just continue doing all that stuff. Absolutely. But yeah, so did that, and then I bought Final Fantasy VII Remake, Intergrade, Intermission. So, which is like just the longest title ever. Yeah, that is absolutely tough. So, yeah, so for Intergrade, obviously, because I already owned Remake, get Intergrade, which is the PS5 version for free. Did the whole bullshit of whole round the houses way, complete opposite of Xbox, of like, had to go onto my PS4 and load up the game and upload my save file, and then I had to go onto my PS5 and then download the Intergrade version and then download my save file and all this, and I was like, oh, for God's sake. And I did that anyway. It's fine. And I quickly loaded up my actual my last save of Remake, and my God, that game was pretty anyway on the PS4, but seeing this game in like 4K 60 frames per second, it's just something else. And then I got Intermission. So Intermission is the DLC, and it's you play as Yuffie from Final Fantasy VII, and so a bit of a weird one. This so like in the original Final Fantasy VII, after the first say like 7 or 8 hours, which remake covers, which is set in the city of Midgar. Once you leave the city of Midgar, the game really opens up. You go to the world map like you traditionally do in like a JRPG and do in Final Fantasy, and you can kind of, obviously explore more of the world. And during that time, you pick up new party members. But there are a couple of party members that were completely optional. One of them was Vincent, who's like one of the coolest characters ever.
Thank you.
And Vincent, of course. And the other one was Yuffie. And it honestly, back in the day, when I played Final Fantasy VII back in the day, I had the official guide. And back then, you always had like guides and walkthroughs that you were using. And if it were not for this guide, you would never, like, it was so, the things you had to do to get these characters, it was just ridiculous. Like, to get Yuffie, you had to go and like go to this certain place at a certain time and cue this conversation, and then like choose these different dialogue. If you choose the wrong one, then you have to do the same thing over and over and over again, and then eventually she would join your party and that kind of stuff. So people could have played the original Final Fantasy VII and never have even seen her, and she was very much just like a kind of a character that was just like a little bit of a side story. But in this, it's interesting what they're doing, because they're like making her very much a central part of that story. And all this stuff in this Intermission game is, was nothing to do with the original game. So this is all new stuff that are done. And Intermission takes place along the same timeline as remake. So, and you from like after the first like 15 minutes, exactly at what point you're at in the game. And because you're seeing the kind of repercussions of what you did. And Yuffie, she basically comes from a kind of a town that's near to Midgar called Wutai. And they're a town of like kind of like ninjas and samurais and that kind of stuff. They've got obviously that very Eastern aesthetic to, like, they've got like temples and that kind of stuff, like very Japanese looking temples and stuff built. And she is a ninja, and she wants to join Avalanche, which are the crew of Eco warriors that Cloud, Barrett, and Tifa are all part of. And she wants to come and join them. And so you're seeing things from her point of view as she's arriving to Midgar, and she's trying to find Avalanche and that kind of stuff. So that's how it starts. It starts as you as Yuffie like you basically climbed over the walls and you reached the city of Midgar, and you start working your way through the slums and that kind of stuff. It's I'm only about an hour into it so far. The gameplay makes it a little bit different. Like, so it makes it a little bit more platformy with her as you're moving around the areas, because you've got her. I always forget the name of it. Her weapon, a shuriken. It's like the big metal, like star kind of thing. Not a star, like a cross that you can throw, like a boomerang. But anyway.
Okay, yeah.
And so as you're going through the world, you can see certain obstacles which you can kind of throw that at and knock stuff down and create new paths. Or like maybe there'll be like a locked box up there you can throw at. And the same with the battle system as well, which I had to completely, like, when I started playing this again, I was like, I completely forgot how to play this game. Like, it's just like I had my memory erased me. I was like, shit, how does the battle system work in this? Oh yeah, shit. And then you have to, I forgot you have to kind of build up your bars to do your moves and stuff. But obviously it plays a little bit different for playing as Yuffie, which so far what I've played, you only play as her. I don't know if other people join your party or whatever. I don't know. But the game I forgot how good this game is. It just plays so good. The music is amazing. But playing it in 4K, 60 frames per second now, it's incredible. But I think in this Intermission game, there's like 2 chapters I think so I heard somewhere you're probably looking somewhere between like 6 to 8 hours or something like that. So shouldn't take too long to get through it. So yeah, I'll probably work my way through that. Should have it done by next week. But yeah, really enjoying it so far. I'm just looking forward to, because it's a completely fresh take on it on her story. I'm looking forward to see what happens, like, because yeah, like in the original game, she didn't go to Midgar at the beginning. I'm wondering if she's even gonna cross paths with the other guys, because again, that didn't happen. But I do think that they are going to do things a little bit differently here. So I'm interested to see. I've heard good things about the ending and what it does. So I want to see what that is and what that looks like, and if it leaves any kind of like vision for what the next part of a remake is gonna have in store. Because I'm excited for that, guys. I'm excited a lot. But
As you should be.
Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, that's it. Really, that's all I've been playing.
General question: as someone who is potentially interested in picking up Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, potentially in the future, we'll see.
Yeah.
Does the PS5 version include the UP DLC, or is that like completely separate?
No, so this is where it gets confusing. So it's so the Yuffie, which is called Intermission.
Intermission, right?
So that is a separate thing, and that's PS5 only. So you can't get that on PS4,
right?
But I believe you have to have the base like game, because you access it through the menu, which kind of makes sense. But then it doesn't, like, it's not like it carries. I don't believe it carries over any save stuff. It's weird because like when you start in her inventory, there's like a bunch of materia, and some of it is at like max level, and I'm like, is that pulled from my stuff? Like, because some of the stuff I don't remember having, like, or is it just kind of giving you that, like, it's, oh, here you go, like, play with that. And I think maybe it is just kind of doing that. But yeah, so you'd have to have the base game first. But the annoying thing is, because I really want you to, like, I'm convinced that if you played 7 Remake, you'd be hooked. You love it. And I think it would completely convert you into a Final Fantasy fan. I refuse to believe that anyone who remotely likes any JRPGs or any RPGs in general cannot play this game and not just be drawn in. But that would require you having to buy Intergrade, because if do you have the base game on PS4? Because I know that was on PlayStation Plus, wasn't it? Did you get that, or?
No, I missed out on that because I don't have PlayStation Plus itself, and I never picked up Final Fantasy VII, even though I played the demo and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, because the annoying thing is, if you have that, you can't get the PlayStation 5 version. Like, you have to buy that, and it's like, I mean, I would, if you're gonna play this, like, you want to play it in the best way. You know, if you can play it in 60 frames per second, all that, it would just, like, yeah, I mean, amazing stuff.
Best way to play that game.
Absolutely, but yeah, I mean, definitely recommend playing it to anyone. Like, I would 100% say, like, to anyone that's never played a Final Fantasy game before, start with 7 Remake, because that will be the one to go to.
Goodness. Yes. Speaking of games, I'd probably be interested in playing them if I play them. Adam, you rolled credits on Red Dead 2, correct? You jumped into anything else recently?
So, I've been dabbling in a few little things, but nothing really worth talking about. The thing that I wanted to talk about with my gaming experience this week is, my God, it's hot. So I just upgraded my Wi-Fi, my broadband, the internet.
The World Wide Web.
The World Wide Web. And my, because the contract was up and everything, and my PlayStation 5 just won't pick up the speed.
Ooh.
It's weird. So I've done all the troubleshooting. Like, and the router's about, I don't know, 6 foot away from the PlayStation 5. It's not wired. Like, I've tried it wired, but to wire it, it'd have to go across the floor. I don't want to do that. And the longer the Ethernet cable is, the worse your internet will be. I had a BT hub in the back that I could plug an Ethernet into directly in, but that wasn't really doing it. So the speed I'm supposed to have is like 300 megabytes. On my phone, I'm getting about 250 on average. On my PlayStation 5, I'm getting 50. It's a huge drop, and I
Big drop.
don't know what to do. So my question was really to Terry: how is yours wired, or have you got yours as wireless? Doing it through Wi-Fi for your internet?
You know what? As you were just saying that, I was just thinking, have I actually got mine wired? Because I used to always have my PS4 wired to the router.
I used to, yeah.
Yeah, and now when I set up my PS5, I don't think I even did that. I'm not sure, but I remember I don't know what speed I'm getting for my PlayStation 5, although I've never really noticed it being slower. But I remember the PlayStation 4 was an absolute bitch with speeds. Like it would bottleneck. No, it didn't matter what you had; it would just download like stupidly slow speed sometimes. But I would always say go wide if you can. But obviously, yeah, like if you're gonna have a wide,
because
it's like
where the Wi-Fi has to plug in is under the stairs in the cupboard.
Right.
Okay, so I can have it out with the door open. That's fine. And then where the TV has to go is in front of the media unit. So, and that's where the PlayStation has to go and everything for the wires go up. But they're on opposite sides of the room. It's not a big room.
Yeah.
But I always thought, and maybe I'm wrong, the longer the Ethernet cable you run, the slower your internet is going to be.
No, it won't be that. I mean, it'd have to be like a considerably long distance to be anything noticeable. I mean, you obviously get a slight loss, but yeah, it shouldn't matter that much.
Because yesterday, me and Casey, I said to Casey, "Do you want to play something?" She sat downstairs, and she said, "Okay." And we ended up playing the Olympics because it's on PlayStation Now. And so I thought, instead of downloading this shit, I can just stream it from PlayStation Now, which at the best anyway, sometimes a little bit iffy. But I was picking up a lot of like fuzziness, and then it was stuttering, and then it was buffering. I was just like, this can't be right. Like this shouldn't be taking this long. The internet was just capping out at like 40 to 50 megabytes per second, and the upload speeds is only like 30, which I know is going to be less than the download speed, but it's just annoying because
I'll check though. I'll check just make sure if I'm running on wired or wireless on that, and see what speed it's getting as well, just to see if it does go above that. Imagine it does.
Because it's such a weird thing. Because I put my phone right next to it. I rested it against the PlayStation 5 and checked my speeds, and I was getting full. Yeah, like you said, I was cooking with diesel. You know, like that was fine. But the PlayStation 5 just nope. And it's so. If I did want an online game, I know you can do it at those speeds, obviously, but
yeah.
All
I know is that it downloads. Yeah, it downloads games like ridiculous, like quick.
What I will say to keep this on the topic of gaming, the Olympics, don't bother with it.
No,
the game, it's pants.
That's a shame.
That makes sense.
The controls are the basic controls, but they're not the most responsive. And I thought that was because I was streaming it, so I did download it today to try it, so I could have a latency-free experience. No
difference.
It's just pants, and some of the events they've brought into it just don't work very well. Like they brought rugby into it, terrible. Football, terrible. Boxing, terrible. Climbing, terrible. The only good ones are the running and the swimming.
This is the problem with the Olympics game. It's that you're trying to cover all of these different sports, and you can't possibly. It's like the kind of
all well.
You can't. It's like master of none, jack of all trades, master of none. How can you possibly make an in-depth rugby game or whatever else? It's just
can't do it.
it's going to really like bring it down to the very basics, isn't it?
Exactly,
If they could like import like Rockstar table tennis and like there's the table tennis, like awesome, you know, like or like
Great.
the football is FIFA, like and it's just like just do that. That'd be like the ultimate game.
That was the thing. Like Beijing was a good game when that came out, but it was just okay across the board. But there was enough events like. When they do like the track and field events, because there isn't really an alternative.
No,
it's fun. But then as soon as you get into, you're right, like the tennis or the table tennis, you're like, you could just go play the actual game, you know, and have a better experience of this. Like, you're right, and they've gone for very almost like memojis, you know, those sort of characteristics, and it's not great. And this bugs me, like. As a game design, if you're playing 2-player, so when you log out, when you first start the game, you get to create your character if you want to, you know, hair color, presets, and all of this. If you want to play with someone, so you turn on, even if it's local or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They can't create their character. You have to close the game. Change over to their screen, let them load the game, create their character, close the game, go back to your screen, load the game, like, and
That's
then
crazy.
they can use their character.
Yeah.
Like, who designed that? Like, Casey couldn't choose if she was male or female. She just had to be this noodle-head guy who looked like Justin Timberlake from NSYNC. Like, it was ridiculous.
Go play Mario and Sonic at the Olympics.
That gets much better.
I'm sure.
But yeah, anyway, that's me anyway. Not too much this week. What about you, Vince?
What about me? Well, you know what? I was playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but that game is just rough around the edges. What finally made me give up, at least for now, we'll see, is a main mission takes you to Athens to meet this guy. And he's like, yeah, I'll help you, but only if you do these 3 tasks for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, standard RPG stuff. You can't progress the story.
Gone off, has it?
Oh, no.
You're there, but you've gone dark.
You're there.
Like the light's gone off on your monitor.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, it's gone off. It's gone off.
Oh, no.
Right, we'll pause the
recording and then
Pause.
remember where you're at, Vince.
Ready.
Cool. Recording in progress. There you go, boys. So last week I talked about playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'm probably giving up on that game for now. Because let me tell you, it is a slog.
Long game.
Long game. Reached the point where I'm in Athens, met with one of the 2 leaders of Athens, kind of vying it out for power or whatever. And he gives you 3 missions to go do. Instead of progressing the story, he gives you 3 missions, basically errands to run for him. And at that point, I did at least 2 of them. But one, which really annoyed me, takes you to a different island. Basically, smuggle someone out of the city. And to that point, the sailing is so bad. I already had problems with it, but the fact that every port you go to has at least 3 enemy ships swirling outside of it, so you have to take care of them before you can dock your ship, is so frustrating. Because it was late one night, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this done before I turn the game off and go eat something. And that took me way too long before I could just stop. And it's so frustrating. Like, I don't want to have to do this every single time. So it was getting to me. But I still wanted to play something, after I ate. So I then loaded up Doom Eternal, just because,
Oh boy.
yeah, they just had their big like next gen update with like 60 FPS, ray tracing, all that, and holy shit, does that game look amazing now? Like, it already like looked great before on the Xbox One, but the Series X or S version with all the updates, it looks immaculate. Immaculate. But well, they did a lot right with that update, let me tell you.
That's id for you.
That's it. Like, that game
They
looks...
know what they're doing.
They do. It looks beautiful. Just beautiful. Beautiful game. Then I started getting an itch. Another one of those itches that you just have to scratch sometimes. And of course, I dropped into Dark Souls 3. Because next on my list...
You have been moving around. These are
been.
not three similar games.
No, they are not.
I'm surprised
Absolutely
though that you've gone in so hard straight after going back into Bloodborne. That's straight from one Souls to another Souls.
Scratch the itch.
Oh, it's scratching the itch real good. Like, it's Dark Souls. Like, it's my bread and butter now. Except for each game absolutely has a learning curve going from like Bloodborne to Dark Souls, totally different game. Because, you know, Bloodborne's more offensive, where the Dark Souls series is very defensive. And then probably after this, going right to Sekiro, maybe, is going to be another, you got to be pretty offensive game. So it's going to be a bit of a juggling match going between the different styles of the, I guess, Soulsborne games. But yeah.
So are you skipping 2? Are you not doing 2 now, or are you just gonna?
Oh, I've already done 2.
Oh, you done 2? Okay.
Yeah, I'm going down
keep
through
up,
like
Terry. Come on.
Yeah, keep up, Terry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm going down through. Yeah.
I thought I remember you was playing Dark. You went back to Dark Souls.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, and then you were playing Bloodborne, but I can't remember you playing 2.
I was going down like release order. So the Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne. Now I'm on 3.
Okay.
And then Sekiro, and then Demon Souls remake. Whenever I get that, I guess.
So I have you kind of said something there when you were saying that this was your jam and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
It's just a quick question. We don't have to go too much into it because I know you've got a lot of things that you want to cover. If you could only play one type of game, one genre of game, so not a series. So if you want to play JRPGs, that's fine. But all the rest of them cease to exist. What genre of game would you choose to play?
That's a tough one because
it's a good question.
Thank you.
There's a lot of stuff that are like my jam. Obviously, Doom, very good FPS game. But do I want to play all FPS for the rest of my life? No, because then you got like your Call of Duties in there. You got like your Battlefields, which are very different styles of game, played very differently from each other. And then I guess that include Halo, but that's that series is kind of waned at this point. RPGs are absolutely a time sink too. I might have to
get
go
some
RPGs.
very good RPGs.
Yeah, you get some great RPGs. You get
value for money with an RPG usually.
Usually, unless it's Assassin's Creed, in which case you get strained patience.
I struggle to call Assassin's Creed an RPG.
Well, the newer ones. Even then, I don't know. It's still like a fine line, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a tiptoe to the RPG line.
Would a Souls-like game be your...
I don't know. I mean, maybe. Because the sheer, like, enjoyment I get out of those games is very different than anything else, really. Because they are, in all essence, basically RPG games played on hard, essentially. Like,
I guess they're much more unforgiving than an a standard RPG, though. I guess
for sure.
But they are
not very story.
I would say Souls-like is their own genre of games now.
Oh, absolutely.
Give me the easy way out, Vince.
No, you're not. I mean, I would probably say Souls-like, but then again, there's a lot of clones out there that are just not as good. You got like your Lords of Fallen, Neo. Probably, I never played Neo. Although I might.
Star Wars: Force Awakens,
Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Sorry.
Yeah, which is a really good game. I mean, it's
that's
very,
a good game. I'm just winding you up.
Yeah, it's a very competent Souls-like too. They just
that's your answer, Souls-like.
Yeah, I'd have to say because I mean, come on.
T-Dog,
what about you?
It's a tough one. It's a tough one because it's saying like what Vince is saying is like there's certain series that I love and they fall into a particular genre, but then there'll be like you said, like FPSs where it's more varied. You know, I could just be playing a bunch of different games. Maybe even like a third, like I don't know, genres are so over the place, aren't they? Like whatever, like whatever you would class Uncharted or The Last of Us, a third person
action adventure.
Yeah, like that. I feel like I'm kind of drawn to those, like story driven, like God of War. Again, like are they different genres? I don't know, but like
I'd put God of War in that as an action adventure.
Yeah, like it's story driven action adventure. I feel like maybe that would be my thing that I definitely do kind of get drawn towards more. Like I couldn't really say, like I'm not a huge, like it seems weird, like my favorite game series is Final Fantasy, but I'm not like a JRPG. Like I don't really play many JRPGs. I just play Final Fantasy. Like so I couldn't even say like JRPGs because then I would just be okay. I just play that Final Fantasy games. MMOs really, if you could push genres into like just like MMOs, like because I feel like you've got a lot
genre.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot. Like if you just said, "Oh, you're only allowed to play MMOs," okay, but there's a lot to keep me going. Like I could just play whether it be like Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft or something like that. There's like it's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it? It's like
maybe there's like JRPG MMOs and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah,
but there's
get into more of these subgenres. But I think really thinking on it, action adventure, that kind of thing. That's
story driven.
Yeah.
I thinking about it. Our action adventure is obviously a solid pick. A lot of the games I like, but I think for me it would be a little bit of a caveat onto that, which would be open world action adventures, open world like GTA's, Red Dead's. I would say Skyrim isn't in there because I'd say that's probably going more into RPG territory. So that probably wouldn't make the cut. So, but your GTA's, your Red Dead's, I'd say even maybe there'd be an argument for the Assassin's Creed games because I don't think we were saying about this, Vince, like just before Terry came back, that, maybe you were back, like the RPG. Is it really an RPG? The new ones, are they still action adventure? It's a hybrid.
RPG is such a broad term.
Role playing game, isn't that gaming?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if I'm playing The Last of Us, am I not playing an RPG?
Yeah, RPG. It was a term that was like a genre given to games that let you manage your stats and or customize your character. Yeah. Most games do that now. So in a way, most games are RPGs. But I know what you're saying. Like when you think of a traditional RPG, you're thinking of like something like Elder Scrolls or something like that. Like as a Western, Western RPG. Right. Like, but whatever that is now.
Open world, story driven games would probably be mine. Basically, Rockstar would be my genre.
Yeah, that's the problem with me. Like with the genre of open world games, Rockstar ruined open world games for me because, like, unless it's a Rockstar game,
there's the title of this podcast. Rockstar ruined open world games.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I just can't. I don't know. Give me a good example of like a fantastic open world game that's not Rockstar, like that I should play. I'm not, not an RPG, not an Elder Scrolls or anything like
that. Like, Sleeping Dogs is a good game.
That's going back a bit, though, right?
It's going back.
Going back,
You have to
yeah.
go back. You have to go back.
Yeah, exactly. But this is my point. It's just like if it's a new
Yes,
Rockstar
Breath
game.
of the Wild is an open world game.
Yeah, that's the bit. That's
Yeah.
But that's also that's
Yeah.
an action adventure open world. It's not, you wouldn't class that as an RPG.
I mean, that we.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say Zelda games
is-
are RPGs.
No, they're Metroidvanias, right? Do we? Are they Metroidvanias?
Oh, now we're getting too into the.
Yeah. I was gonna.
Well, no.
Into it, I think.
Because like Metroidvania, I'd see like you get an item, then you can backtrack to get other upgrade materials and stuff like that. I don't really see that with like a Zelda game because you get the items to finish the dungeons themselves, and then you move on.
Yeah, but
to the
normally
next
you can't
dungeon.
go to certain. I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but normally it's like, oh, you can't get to this area until you get this weapon, and you go back there, and like you
There's
unlock
kind
certain-
of that. There is that part. You're all right about
I mean,
that.
traditional Zelda games, that's like how they work. Like, but I know it's a little bit different. Like, but I always think of Zelda games in that way. They're
I think
their
you
own
are,
thing.
yeah. I think you are right about Rockstar. They've set the bar so ridiculously high that
Yeah.
everything's compared to their open worlds.
No, that's it. Nothing still compares to GTA 5. You know, like it's just the game's almost a decade old.
The only one I'd say is Watch Dogs 2 is a pretty decent open world. But it's a pretty decent is the key words there.
That's what you can give it. Pretty decent. Yeah.
Sorry, anyway, to take over there, Vince, it's back to you.
Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Dark Souls 3. Yeah. Really good game. Like, it's, again, a bit of a learning curve. Still pretty early on to be as unsure of how I feel about it within, like, I guess my Soulsborne rankings.
You've not played this one before, is that correct? Sorry.
Nah. Because going through them is my first time playing through these games entirely, or even like at all. So, I mean, besides Dark Souls 2, because I bounced off that one quite a lot before getting into it. That's just because they put a really ridiculously hard boss super early on in the game. That's just, again, ridiculously hard.
A lot of people seem to be down on 2. Is that not the case with you? Because it's not Miyazaki, is it?
No, because they were saying like it's a completely different studio that did it, but it was still, like FromSoft, but like
it
wasn't the director. But I still really enjoyed 2. Like all that aside, I think it's better than 1, which I don't want to say is a very controversial opinion for some reason, because they added in like a new healing item called the life gems, which were basically items that you could use and it would slowly regenerate your health over like a small period of time, rather than the Estus flask, which you use, it restored a lot of your health instantly. But life gems were consumables that were dropped from enemies. So you go through an area like, you know, and almost never run out of them. Plus you could purchase more as well. So they weren't like a finite resource, which I didn't really mind too much because when, say at least Dark Souls 1, when you rest at a bonfire, you get 5 charges on your Estus flask or more, depending on, you know, if you've kindled the bonfire or not. But still, those 5 charges will generally get you to the next boss, and with probably more to spare. And then the next bonfire after that and after that. But I like the idea of having an alternate healing item that you could use on the go. So you have potentially more opportunities between the boss or the next bonfire to use a healing item. You have a better chance of making it further, honestly. And I guess a lot of people's other complaints with 2 is that there's too many like humanoid enemies, and in which case, did you play 2? Because a lot of the bosses are very much not humanoid enemies. For sure. I mean, a couple of the earlier ones, yes, but the further you get into it, kind of like Bloodborne, the less human some of the enemies and bosses become. I mean, Terry, being an arachnophobe, there's an entire area that's just spider enemies.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, and one of the bosses is literally a giant spider. So, like, come on. And one's a giant fire dragon later on in the game. Like, I don't know what people's problem with 2 is, because, again, I actually kind of like it better than 1. Even going back to 1, it's really rough.
Has it got the same? Because I know what everyone, and I don't know what 3 is like, but I know what everyone praises the original Dark Souls about the most is it's like level design, like it's labyrinthian design. It's just ridiculous, like how you could, I've seen like maps of it. It's just crazy how you just go around these different routes and then you end up coming out like somewhere you'd been, and it's like, oh my god, like just like you can kind of map the place out in your head. Is 2 the same?
2 is a bit different, and this is another complaint people have against 2, is that there's a section in it where you're traversing like this poison forest, basically. And then you take an elevator up, and all of a sudden you're in like a lava cave with a castle sinking into lava. So like people are like, how do you go up from a poison forest into a lava cave with a castle? So, but the reasoning behind it is with the first Dark Souls, time is weird, in which case, like, you'll see phantoms of other players running around. That's kind of explained by Solaire as like time kind of brushing up against itself and causing like overlaps and stuff like that. And kind of the way Dark Souls 2 is with just areas in general. It's kind of facing, overlapping each other, where things may not make sense, but kind of. And that's, I guess, is just a fan way of explaining it away, but to me it kind of makes sense, because all of Dark Souls and Bloodborne, to an extent, is a cycle. Like, your objective in Dark Souls 1 is to relight the first flame and continue the Age of Fire, or the alternate ending, snuff the flame out and bring on an Age of Darkness. So, I don't know. Time is weird in Dark Souls. Space is weird in Dark Souls 2. I haven't figured out the catch with 3 yet, but, I might. I will, because I'm finishing this game. It's so good.
Do you watch RKG e-review?
No.
Oh, Vince, you're missing out. You're missing out. Did you ever watch like Prepare to Try or anything on IGN or?
No.
You will love it. I think it might be your new favorite channel if you start watching it. It's like
apart from Shifty Crab.
Apart from Shifty Crab,
apart from Shifty
Crab. It's the free, like the Krupa, Gav, and Rory Powers from IGN UK. So I don't know if you know, they did like a video series called Prepare to Try on IGN, and they played through Dark Souls. But it was like Krupa is like, he's like Soulsborne mad. He's just like crazy. He knows all the lore in and out, and yeah. So it's like, it'd be Rory like playing it, who'd never played it before, and they created their character Finchy, based on Finchy from Chris Finch from The Office, the UK Office, and every time they play a new Souls game, they create a new character like Finchy. They make him as ugly as they possibly can. But anyway, he's playing through it for the first time, and it's like them trying to get him through it, and it's fantastic. And yeah, and anyway, they ended up leaving IGN and starting RKG.
I remember them starting a new channel.
And basically just carrying that over, and they've been playing through. They did Bloodborne, they did Dark Souls 3, I think. I can't remember. And a bunch of other games as well. But it's so good. Like, I watched them do like Dark Souls, like, and it's just fantastic. It's just so funny. It's so funny. Like, it's just it's great. You got to watch it. You got to get on that.
I got to. Once I finish it up. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. That's what we've all been playing.
Cool.
Very good. But speaking of watching things, I brought a topic.
Segues today, isn't it?
So many segues. The segue master over here.
Adam's like melting.
The heat in here, man. The heat in here. I'm looking at the thermometer now.
It's 36. Just like the mercury just bursts.
36.
36 currently.
Getting up in that 90-degree range, probably. I don't know how temperatures work. I'm not doing the math. I'm not going to be bothered. Anyway,
I'll do the math.
You can do the math. Well, I explain.
Also, just before you start, sorry, Terry, you were correct. There has been no official Ragnarok yet, apart from in the trailer. So, I mean,
obviously, it's set, but no official title.
Yeah,
might call it something different.
97 degrees.
97 degrees. Okay, you're approaching that 100. You're getting there.
Oh yes.
When it gets to 100, can you make it in like edit? Can you make it flash up on the screen? Ding, 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 ding.
I'll keep an eye
out.
Or
just add like flames to the background. Let's give you extra work. Add flames to your background.
Like a hot rod.
If I survive.
If you survive long enough. Oh.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, anyway.
Speaking of dots, but I'm focused.
Hey, you're focused. Movies. I brought a topic to the table. I saw this floating around on Twitter from Zach Wood. It says, quote, retweet with a movie you like/love that has a Rotten Tomatoes score. The example he gives is a Goofy movie with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 58%. So that got me thinking, what's a movie that we all like or enjoy or love that has a very low either Rotten Tomatoes score or Metacritic score? And I'm interested to hear what these great movies are. So who should go first? What are we thinking? Who wants to present their movie first?
I'll tell
you. You know what, Terry? Just go ahead. Present your movie. What's a movie you love?
No, I know. Like, there's gonna be. I didn't even like because you hit us up on Slack with this, Vince. Yesterday. And I didn't even like research it or anything like that because I know there's going to be like tons of films. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm going to see what
I went with my gut and I've stuck with it.
Yeah, I'm going to see what the tomato meter is. And I'm like, oh my God, that is a tilt. But I knew there was one in particular that a film that is very near and dear to my heart. And I'm sure probably near and dear to one or two of you guys. I grew up on Jim Carrey films. And
this is going to be...
And one of my favorite comedies of all time was Ace Ventura.
Okay.
Ace Ventura.
Ace
Ventura Pet Detective, which sits at a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? But no, wait. That's not even it. It. Because then I looked at Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, which arguably you could even say is the better film. I would probably say that.
Better film, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, let me present to you this crime. Ace Ventura When Nature Calls currently sits at... Let me find it here. Oh, wait, no, I'm not on the page. Wait, I'm keep the drum roll going.
Keep the dream alive.
It is sitting at... I had the IMDb open instead.
I'm running out of breath.
25%.
Wow.
25%. Are you kidding me?
What's its audience score?
72.
Oh, mine's 72.
Let's see that balances that.
But what? In what world is Ace Ventura When Nature Calls a 25% film? It's insane. That's absolutely insane. Like you speak to anyone like of our generation or comedians, like these are the films that like everyone loves these. These are what like people grew up with. Like everyone refers to these as all-time greats.
Oh, yeah.
And then, sorry, I'm gonna steal one more because obviously Ace Ventura, it is like a very much a film. They're films of their times, and I can understand how like maybe someone that's younger now that didn't grow up with those films can look at them and go, oh, maybe they're not as not that great, not that they're 25%. But this is the one that angered me. This is the one that really pissed me off. Me, Myself, and Irene.
That's his best film. If this is long,
arguably, like I think one of the greatest comedies ever. Like,
I love that film.
Like you cannot, like, whether you're a fan of like you grew up with Jim Carrey or not, you can't watch that film and say that it's just not laugh out loud funny. 47% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
47%. Me, Myself, and Irene. What?
Shame.
You want a tango? That film is so good.
Oh my god! Yeah. So that's my. So the most criminal one right there is like Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, but like the one that shocked me was Me, Myself, and Irene. I just 47%.
I need to watch that film again. I love that film.
What are you staring at, fucker? Oh, it's just so good, so good, such a good film.
What he says? Whoa! I want to bring a little sunshine into his life. Careful, he might peel.
Careful. Hey, ringworm, gonna pick up that butt. Oh, it's just so good.
Vagisil. We have a pressure called Vagisil.
That film is just so quotable. It's just so good. It's so good.
So good.
I love that film. Yeah, you know you're knocked out of the park with all of them. Like, yeah, they all should be a lot higher, but definitely Me, Myself, and Irene. That's one of his most underrated films. Like, but it's
that's what I mean. Out of those three,
much,
out of those three films, like that one to me is like up and above like the funniest. Like, and to be at that score, and even the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes 57%.
That's real low.
That's real low. Real
crazy,
low.
Crazy. What's going on with the world?
All right. I'll go next because I took this in a different meaning, so I haven't quite done it the same as Terry. But like, I decided to pick a film that meant a lot to me. Like, it probably didn't mean anything to you guys. Like, but that has a low Rotten Tomatoes score, but I think is a great film. And this is one of my favorite films, but I watch it very rarely. I can't watch it that often. And we're going on a little bit of a roller coaster here. So
I reckon. Wait, before you say it, I reckon I know what this is. Is it
rapping?
I'm not going to say it. I won't say it.
No, go say it. Say it.
Is it? And I don't even know what the score of this is. Is it Vanilla Sky?
It is Vanilla Sky.
Because I remember you saying that was like your favorite film.
It's one of my favorite films of all time.
And I was like, that's an interesting take.
It is, and it's not like anything else I watch. But this film, for some reason, I remember watching this. Have you two even seen Vanilla Sky?
Do you know what? I think I saw it once, and I don't remember much of it. Okay,
so you're like most people.
Yeah.
Vince?
I'm going to say the fact that I had to Google this movie, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's the Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, I remember just him wearing that really weird, like, doesn't he wear like a Phantom of the Opera type mask? And...
No, he wears a full face mask.
Oh, okay. That was it. Yeah, and
part of it.
It's really weird. That's just like...
It's a very weird film. It is a very weird film. It is...
I like weird.
The cast is incredible for this film. So you've got Tom Cruise, Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, Jason Lee, Kurt Russell, Tilda Swinton, Noah Taylor, Timothy Spall, Michael Shannon, Shalom Harlow. There's a load of really cool people in this. It's the reason that this film for me is so good. And it sits at 42% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 72% audience score. So this is Tom Cruise like you've never seen him, for one. He starts the film being the arrogant Tom Cruise that we know, where he has the luckiest life. He just gets by with a smile. He plays very much. The interesting fact about this film: it is the only film in the history of cinema where they closed Times Square.
Interesting.
He sprints through, and he has a nightmare at the very beginning of the film of him being the only person left alive in the world, and he sprints through Times Square and it's empty. It's the only film to ever close Times Square.
Wow.
It was at the time. I don't know if it's happened since. So anyway, yeah, he plays his cocky self, and he meets Penelope Cruz and falls instantly in love with her. She's a dancer. She's very bohemian, just likes life, very different to him. She doesn't really like him too much, but they get to know each other. She comes to his party. They kind of have this really close relationship between the two of them. Cameron Diaz absolutely loves Tom Cruise, and they're kind of fuck buddies, but she loves him. Anyway, Cameron Diaz gets into a car crash with Tom Cruise in the car on purpose, and he wakes up and his face is deformed, and he can't move his face. He has to wear this mask because he's scarred everywhere, and he kind of falls into like a pit of despair. And the whole story, you think, is him trying to build himself up, speaking to his therapist, which is all done in a prison room in the future. So you think, oh, something's happened. So he's talking to a psychiatrist, played by Kurt Russell, very well as well. He does a really good job with this. And as you go through the film, it's kind of leading up to him having this nervous breakdown, mental breakdown, and you think he's going to have killed Cameron Diaz. But then you think, it shows that he's killed Penelope Cruz, and he can't tell the difference between the two people. So he's like, this isn't right. This isn't what happened. It was definitely her. I saw her. I tied her. Blah blah blah. Like, and he has this nervous breakdown. But there's stuff going on that doesn't quite make sense, like words, and sometimes there's things out of place. And it turns out that he did survive the crash with this face scarred and everything like that. And then he signed up to a thing called, I can't remember the term for it, but it's like, basically it's cryogenics. They freeze you and put you into a deep sleep where you control the sleep, basically. And you have themes that you keep with you. And he kills himself and gets put into this cryogenic freeze. And this is the day after he had met Penelope Cruz, and he bases his whole deep sleep on just being able to be with her. That's his whole memory, is to be with her. And it's at the end how he decides to wake up from the deep sleep, because it's like 100 years have gone past. Like the tech guy who joins him and talks to him in the thing, which is I know explain this, it's like, what the fuck is going on? But this film, which is a Spanish film to start with, called Abre los ojos, which means open your eyes. It's a remake. It's just about, first of all, you see Tom Cruise do something that he never does, is properly act. Like, and there's some good acting in this by Tom Cruise. But it's about a personal story of two people meeting and that changing everything in your life. It is a love story, but with a sci-fi thriller. He was doing this at the same time as Minority Report. There's some cool cameos in this. Spielberg's in this film.
Is he?
Yeah. He was obviously directing him in Minority Report. And in Minority Report, I think it's Chris Columbus who directs this. He appears in Minority Report. Yeah, so they appear in both. But I even got the tattoo that says Abre los ojos.
Wow,
open your eyes.
That's a real fan.
Yeah, like, because this film meant everything to me. I once, and this is no word of a lie, I must have been like 18, and I broke up with a girl because I watched this film and thought, I would never do that for you. I was like, what's the point? I was like, I would never feel for you like they feel for each other. So I was like, this ain't gonna work. I didn't say that at the time. I thought this, and then we broke up. But this film's just stuck with me. Like, whenever, like, for some reason, and I know on paper it should be shit, but for some reason it just hits different. And I hate every other film that is remotely like this. But it's got a great soundtrack. It's very well directed, like very well acted as well. Like, it's Tom Cruise probably doing his best acting, which isn't hard. But big game Tom, you know, He does a lot of running in this film, so therefore it must be a hit because the more he
Run
runs,
to the
the
bank.
more.
All the time.
Do you like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Taking it
Yes,
back to
it's very
Jim
similar.
Carrey? Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like similar concepts, and I
do like that film. It's a film where you have to sit and you can take your own experience away from it. There's no bad character; they all have flaws, and you can kind of see from everyone's story. Jason Lee does really well in this film as well. Like this was before My Name Is Earl and all of those things. This is before he went down that road. He does really well as his best friend. But it's got a great soundtrack. It's got like REM. It's got the Beach Boys. It's a weird soundtrack, but it's a pretty cool film. And it's got Tilda Swinton being Tilda Swinton. So
Great actress.
And all of her weirdness. Anyway, that was mine. Vanilla Sky. Vince.
Good pick. Good pick. Mine's more of a movie that absolutely surprised me, and a lot of people shit on because for some reason people don't like this film, and I absolutely adore it. Of course, I am talking about 2017's own Power Rangers. Yeah,
wow.
You're right. Yeah,
I was not expecting
been a
that.
weird one. No,
I was not expecting
absolutely not.
that at all.
Is that with Elizabeth Banks playing Rita?
Yes, it's with Elizabeth Banks playing Rita, and she is fantastic.
I've
in the
still
movie.
not seen this. Don't hurt me, Vince. And growing up with I was a Power Rangers fan, like with the first series, Black Ranger for life. I haven't seen this yet. I haven't seen it, and I thought it was bad. But okay, sell me on it.
See, a lot of people think this movie is bad because it's not Power Rangers doing Power Ranger things until the end of the film. But that's the point. This is a character piece of the Power Rangers. Like, the whole point of it is them coming together as a team. That's the basis of this movie. It's 5 teenagers who don't know each other, who are suddenly given this power and told to work together to save the world. Like, that's the setup. And every time I watch this movie, like, I go back and watch it like every now and then, because of course I own the 4K Blu-ray of this, because yes, this is actually a really good movie. Of course I do. There's a scene that absolutely makes me tear up every single time, just because it's a really good scene.
That's everywhere in this.
No, see, the product placement is what a lot of people make fun of because it's an actual plot point to the movie.
Yeah.
But
what's the product placement?
Oh, it's Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
It's 100% Krispy Kreme. It's beating over the head obvious with it. But the point where they play Stand By Me is absolutely gets me every time, because it's a moment of the film where they finally come together over something that happens. I'm not going to spoil it for you, Terry, because I believe you should watch this movie.
Don't play Final Fantasy 15 then, because the game opens up with Stand By Me, so you might tear up.
I might. I just might.
Is it just that song that does it?
Sorry? No, it's not the song. It's the sequence that takes place while the song is playing. Okay? Like, it is the moment of the film that gets me every time, because they build up the characters super well. It's absolutely a character movie because, God.
But it's definitely not a Power Ranger film.
That doesn't matter, because you know what? It's a good movie. Like, I really enjoyed this movie.
It's an okay film.
It's a good movie.
It's bad.
No. It gets shit on a lot for people just hating on it, but it's a really good movie. Like, sitting down and watching this. Well, yeah. So is every Marvel movie. But still.
I'm sorry, what? Every Marvel movie?
How much ooze is in it, though, Vince?
There's no ooze. Well, that's not true.
I'm out.
There's a bit of ooze from Goldar, but that's different. Yeah.
Am I wrong? I might be thinking of a film. Are the suits CGI?
You know, I don't think they're entirely CGI. Just because
maybe I'm
some of the
else. I know there's one that the suits are all CGI as well.
yeah,
It might not be Power Rangers. It could be something else.
I rewatched. I started watching like the first series like recently on Netflix. Just put it on and boy, that's interesting to watch as an adult now. It's so funny how it goes from like obviously when you're a kid you just don't notice this stuff. Obviously you just kind of draw it in, you're enjoying it, but like how obviously to cater to every country that it was like sold in, I guess, like how like you'd have the American actors like and they'd do their bit of kung fu and it was like kind of average and then they mask up and they put the suits on and then it goes straight into like some rooftop in Japan somewhere and they're just like and it's like it's completely they're in a completely different location. They're just like
completely different.
And then it'll be like some guy in a suit, like which is just basically some guy in a suit now, like in a crab outfit or something. And but yeah, hey, that was a product of I want to say 94.
The continuity guy clearly was not involved heavily on that.
No,
he did not care. No.
But I tell you what, going to see that first film at cinema, that was an event.
Oh yeah.
I think the first Mighty Morphin Power Rangers film is the very first film I rented from Blockbuster, or someone rented for me.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely had that on VHS. Probably still do somewhere, to be honest. But yeah. I don't know. I just love the movie because it's so underrated and it's very good. Literally. Because it's sitting at 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. And that is a shame.
It's the next part of this task that I'm looking forward to the most, Vince.
The next part of this task? Okay. You're looking forward to it? That was my bit because I absolutely enjoy that film. But I also gave you another bit of homework because why not? Because I was sitting on this idea. We came up with like business pitches a while ago, but I thought, why not pitch a movie? Not just any movie, but a sequel to a film that we like. This is obviously something that doesn't currently have a sequel or a sequel in production. This is a sequel to a film that we'd love to see that currently does not have one. So, Terry, you don't look ready.
I'm ready.
You're ready? Oh, we are all ready. Adam, you know what? Kick this off for us. You're excited. Oh, yeah. You're ready to kick this off.
Okay. So, I think what needs a perfect sequel, there's a few criterias. I think it has to be something from a while ago. I don't think you want anything too recent. I think it needs to have earned its sequel. Like longevity, like is it still fondly looked upon? That was one of my criterias. 2, is there a story to make a sequel? That was my second criteria. And 3, would it make money? They were my 3 criterias. So, that being said, and I know this isn't campaign mode, so I know I don't have to do a huge pitch.
No, you don't.
I give to you, ladies and gentlemen,
Vanilla Sky 2.
No. The Goonies 2.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Okay.
I like
the
this.
Goonies 2. The Goonies is fundamentally Indiana Jones for kids. But it is a great film for adults as well. I love The Goonies. I don't think there are many better Sunday afternoon films.
There's a real good Sunday afternoon matinee.
You've got like your you've got your original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You've got your Goonies, James Bond films. They're all your good Sunday afternoon films. So, and it has a natural story. You take the kids from the first one, especially Brolin and what's he called from? Is it Sean Astin?
Sean Astin.
Yeah.
Samwise Gamgee himself.
Yeah.
You take those 2, and it's their kids.
Okay.
And maybe Chunk. Is it Chunk? No.
Chunk.
Shuffle. Yeah. You take all their kids, and they go on their own adventure. Not for One-Eyed Willie, because that's a weird name, and that should not have been in a kids' film. But but they go on their own adventure with better CGI, even though all of that was real props, like an incredible set design for that film. And they go do their own adventure, like with all their gizmos and all the story, and it's just a great story. And the sequel writes itself. Now, caveat: there was going to be a sequel, but obviously we've just had the passing of the director, and all the cast said that they would never do the sequel without him. So therefore, there is now no sequel. So that my pick still counts.
Okay, I'll allow it.
That's a bloody good shout.
Yeah, that's a very good choice. Like,
it's a film that I really like. There's not you see them pumping out sequels. I would like a sequel to this.
I rewatched that about a year or two ago, and it's still such a good film. And I think didn't they do a cast like script read along with that like not that long ago? Like,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone gets confused. Everyone thinks Spielberg directed this. No, he didn't.
No.
He produce it? Yeah.
He produced and wrote part of it as well.
Yeah.
But he didn't direct it. It was the same guy, I can't remember his name, who did Lethal Weapon, who directed this. He directed all the Lethal Weapons. He passed away like last month.
Yeah.
No, part of me needs to Google this.
Yeah, because I was listening to the Empire podcast the other day, and they actually mentioned that the Goonies. He did
Richard Donner.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did he do? Lethal Weapon.
He did the original Superman.
Yeah.
He did
That was
the
it.
original
Yeah, the
Superman.
Superman. Yeah. He done loads of good stuff.
Yeah, he was instrumental in especially in the mid to late 80s.
Yeah.
And then he did all. I think he did all of the Lethal Weapons. He was doing the final Lethal Weapon film.
Was he?
All like Mel Gibson and Donald Glover was coming back for it. It was in production.
Yeah.
And that was going to be his
He
swan
was-
song. That was going to be his last film, he said. So
He was like, what was he, 80?
90 maybe. It was a fair age.
Oh, yeah, no, 91 was
91,
Yeah.
He died in July. What?
Yeah, it was this month. I
Yeah.
think at the very beginning of the
yeah.
month. Yeah, so
Wow.
which is obviously a shame, but 91's a good age, you know. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was like, he did the Goonies, and the whole cast said they wouldn't want to do it without him. So if they did do a Goonies film, you wouldn't be able to. They probably wouldn't bring back any of the original cast. So I don't know if it would be the same, but if you know, Goonies is a great film. But I like those sort of films. Indiana Jones, The Goonies, even National Treasure 2.
Yeah.
I like those films as well. I just like those sort of the great Sunday films.
They really are. I want to get the kids watching the Indiana Jones films. Like, I think they're there now. Like,
Would you start on Indiana Jones or would you start on the Goonies?
Well, we actually have watched the Goonies.
Oh, you've all
I
watched
watched
the
it
Goonies,
with them. Yeah, I watched that
Okay.
about a year or so ago.
Yeah.
And they did enjoy it. But I think that Indiana Jones is a bit like, because they are they're slow paced, aren't they? And it's like, you know, they're films from a different time.
Monkey
But
brains and
but I love them because that's how I always think of them. They're these like perfect kind of Sunday afternoon films. And
Great films, yeah.
yeah, and Harry's getting really into like all these like, he loves like, he for his birthday, which was the other week, he got like one of those kind of National Geographic where you like dig out the stones
Oh wow, okay.
and you
Oh,
find
yeah.
the gems and stuff. Like he loves things like that, gems and crystals and digging out things. I was like, oh, you like all that?
They
You got
love Indiana Jones.
you got to watch Indiana Jones. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, he's the best like kind of treasure hunter there is. Come on, like the best archaeologist. So like, yeah, I want to get him on them now. So I think it's time for a watch through.
Although Temple of Doom might not be
Yeah,
might not be a good
bit
place.
dark.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're a bit
Bit dark, that one.
bit dark. I just love
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. For me, it's just like a perfect movie.
I think you
Really
can't
great
do much
film.
better, yeah. Do you hold out much hope for this new one?
I mean, after Crystal Skull, really.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
There's got to be some redemption there, though, hasn't there?
I don't know. I just feel like, to me, and I hate to say this, but Spielberg, like, who was just like my childhood, he hasn't got that magic anymore. Like, I think he's still got it, but I feel like he's too heavy with the CGI and all that kind of stuff. And I just wish he'd go back to doing something like. I wish he'd just did a film where it's like, I'm going to rely on more practical effects and do that kind of stuff. Like, I think he'd be so cool. It's just, I don't know why. I mean, he does some like I thought I enjoyed Ready Player One, and I know that was like just fully because that's just kind of film it was. But like, and I liked what he did with Tintin and stuff like that. But I think a lot of his films are just like they're not like classic. So for me, it's like pre-2000 Spielberg. Like, it was like. Although I did really like Minority Report, and that was like 2002, wasn't it?
It's early 2000s.
Yeah.
The early noughties, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, I'm sure I'm probably missing something that I'm not thinking of, but like,
He used to hit gold with nearly every film.
I mean, 80s and 90s Spielberg. I mean, Jesus Christ, come on.
I think his main issue because he obviously did like Saving Private Ryan and that, didn't he? Which obviously was incredible,
unbelievable.
And I think he got to a point where he got a little bit stuck in his ways, and other directors kind of came along and did things in a newer, more exciting way, and gave us a new outlook. Like, I think you look at Ridley Scott as a prime example. I think he is such a versatile director. Like, and he has done so many good films. Like, it would be I think it's a close argument on who out of the two of them who's the better director. Like, Spielberg's had more hits, you'd say, is hits, but Ridley Scott, like Gladiator, come on now, like
Alien,
Blade Runner was Ridley Scott, like
with me, Ridley Scott. I think obviously you mentioned Gladiator, and there's he's done like stuff like American Gangster. He's done some like really good different stuff, but for me, Ridley Scott he's all about sci-fi for me. Because like Alien and Blade Runner, I mean, that's where whenever he returns to sci-fi, that's where I get excited. And everyone hates on Prometheus, and
I didn't like Prometheus, but
I enjoyed it.
It's still a good film.
Yeah, I enjoyed Prometheus. Like
and
I also enjoy Alien Covenant.
I'm like Alien. It's like one of my favorite. Like, that's like weirdly, I just kind of just grew up with that franchise. It's just that to me is like. I was into Alien before I was into Star Wars. I was just like, that was my thing. Like, but yeah.
What's his new film? What's his next? What's he got coming out?
Is it another Alien movie?
No.
He was working on it.
He's not doing Dune, is he? That's Villeneuve, isn't it?
Yeah, to me, Villeneuve, he is the new
Ridley Scott.
He's the new Ridley Scott. Absolutely. He's the one I get excited about. I mean, Jesus, like Blade Runner 2049 was just insane,
visually incredible.
That's one of my all-time favorite films. I think it's actually better than Blade Runner. I think it actually like improved on it.
It answered a lot of questions.
Arrival was fantastic. And Dune, I'm so excited. I've actually got the book. I've started the book, and I need to read that before the film comes out.
Get on that, because that's fantastic.
Because I got it last year, because remember that it was coming out like Christmas time last year, wasn't it? And then obviously COVID hit and everything like that, and then so I just kind of delayed reading it, and I was like, but now I know I've moved it to October, so I'm thinking, shit, I've got to read this, because I would like to read it and then go see the film. I've got to see that at cinema. That's just got to be
absolutely. Oh yeah, that's my plan.
And you know what? It's going to
Ridley Scott.
It's going to flop at the box office.
Yeah,
no one's going to go see it. Like, no one went to see Blade Runner 2049. It's not going to get the sequel it's meant to get. And there you go. That's what it's going to be.
Ridley Scott has some massive films coming out. So he has The Last Duel, which is
wait, was that Ridley Scott?
Ridley Scott, yeah.
I literally just watched the trailer for that today.
Yeah, that's coming out in October this year, which is obviously Adam Driver, Jodie Comer, Matt Damon. One of the writers on it was Ben Affleck, Matt Damon.
Yeah,
well.
have you guys watched the
I haven't
trailer?
seen the trailer yet. I'm going to watch it.
No.
Like, 'cause
Wow.
it's right up my alley because
Wow.
it's King Charles and it's
Yeah.
So
What
you've
a
got
cast.
yeah. Then he's doing the House of Gucci. That's the one that's got Lady Gaga in.
Interesting.
Then he's doing an untitled Alien prequel.
Mm-hmm. The
Yeah,
sequel
that's
to
been rumored
Covenant.
for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Then he's
But God, I
he's
want that
doing
film.
Queen and Country, which is a special ops agent. Is on the run after assassinating a powerful Eastern European leader, which is very much up his alley of some of the other films he's done. Then he's got a film called Kitbag, which is a personal look at Napoleon Bonaparte's origins. And then Gladiator 2.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, yeah,
the thing,
we'll see how that works.
the thing is with Ridley Scott, he talks about all these things, and some stuff materializes and some stuff doesn't.
It's in production.
What I was looking forward to in terms of the alien stuff, I wanted. Don't know if you guys remember, but Neil Blomkamp, he was meant to be doing a sequel to Aliens.
Really?
Which was basically going to retcon Alien 3 and was going to show like what happened, like with, and yeah, he showed concept art for it. And Neil Blomkamp, I mean, he's one of these directors that like, he's so good at what he does, like that type of sci-fi. And they showed like concept art for what that would look like. And in this story, Hicks, I don't know if you guys like how much you're into like 80s. Yeah. Like Hicks is still, Hicks is still alive in this, and he's got like melted face and everything like that, and he's got the gun, and it's him and Ripley. And I was like, oh man, this is a cool idea. But yeah, I mean, that would have been, but that was going to go ahead, and then Ridley Scott kind of shut it down because this was pre-Covenant.
Yeah,
it's like no, you're not, mate. Like, you're not doing that. I'm doing Covenant, and then that was the end of that, which was a shame because Neil Blomkamp like met with what kind of thing of a name? Ripley.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's gone from me too. Sigourney
Weaver, and they went like chatting over it, and they said like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like, oh, that would have been so cool. And his Halo movie would have been absolutely fucking ridiculous as well. But that was a sad state of affairs, everything that happened through that. So,
I mean, at this point, they should stop trying to do Halo anything related to film or television or whatever. Just stop trying. It's not going to happen.
That was it. That boat sailed. Yeah. Like Neil Blomkamp doing that would have been. I mean, they were in production of that, heavily in production of that.
Yeah,
and it's only because that literally it all fell through that he made District 9. He had to literally put all of his artists on a new thing, and they made District 9 out of it. But but that's a good film.
Anyway, that was my suggestion.
That was we've been on a tangent for like half an hour. Anyway,
tangent.
Yeah.
Who do you want to go to next, Vince?
Who do we want to go to next? Terry, are you ready with your pitch for a sequel to a movie? Okay.
Mine has a weird link to Adam's actually. So Adam's has a Lord of the Rings co-star starring in his film, and mine has a Lord of the Rings star in it.
But it's not Lord of the Rings, though, please.
It's not Lord of the Rings. That had a sequel.
That had several sequels.
This is a film that came out in 2012. Can anyone guess what this might be?
The movie 2012?
In 2012. Oh.
Starring a Lord of the Rings.
It's not the... No, it can't be that. Is it the one with Viggo Mortensen? What? No.
What movie would that be?
Is a comic book movie that came out in 2012. An 18 comic book movie. May I suggest? No, not Sin City. That got a sequel. That
had Elijah Wood in it, though, didn't it?
Yeah, as a pedophile.
It did. Good guess, though. Good guess.
Comic book movie.
Comic book movie that's an 18. Is it Watchmen?
No.
That wasn't an 18.
That was in 2012. Yeah, I'm googling 2012
and
movies.
it's an 8 comic book.
Yep.
Right. Well, you realize now that we're going to do this until we get it. Is the Lord of the Rings character the main character?
Oh my god!
He's got it. He's got it.
Have you Googled it?
I googled comic
I'm
book
going to
movies,
give you. I'm
and
going to
it
give you
hit
one
me.
more. I'm going to give you one more little tip as well. The actor now also stars in a series of another comic book adaptation. Is that right, Vince?
That's right. Because it's
Come on, Vince. What is it?
It's Dread. God, that movie is so good.
Dread.
Yes.
It's what? Sorry.
Dread.
Dread.
2012's
Yes.
Dread. This film. What a film! What an absolute
Fantastic film.
banger of a movie that is such a faithful adaptation of the comic. Carl Urban is just like fantastic in it, and absolute credit to him for never removing the helmet, which is what they should do if they ever. If anyone argues that you couldn't do a Halo film, watch Dread. I know, obviously, you get to see his jaw in this, and he's like absolutely perfect in this. But this film is just like everything you want like a
tower block.
Yeah. So basically, a very weird thing this actually, because this came out literally around the same time as the film The Raid, and again another absolutely fantastic film. In fact, arguably better. I think The Raid's probably one of the greatest action films ever made. But it's weird, they came out so closely together, and they're almost the same film in that they're set in a tower block, and they've got to work their way up and get to the top of this tower block. What I love about Dread is that it captures the feel of Dread and the comics and the dance of it. And they did it on, and I don't know what budget it was made on, but it's a very contained film. Like, they didn't have like a ridiculous budget to spend on. Like, they couldn't like show you the whole of Mega City 1, you know, in that, you know, you would see perhaps in a sequel. It just focused on this one tower block. I forget the name. It's like something. What was the name of the? It was like a tree, wasn't it? Do you remember, Vince? The name of the actual tower. I can't remember.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, but yeah. And
you've got them working their way. Basically, the premise of the story. You got Lena Headey. Is that right? As the drug lord, who's like owns this like tower block, and he's trying to get to the top. She's on the top floor to get to her, and she puts out a bounty like on her and the other judge, whoever kills them, like, you know, basically gets all this money. And they're all taking these like drugs, which basically makes them see everything like slow-mo, which makes everything look just amazing. It just looks so goddamn good. And it just set up the perfect franchise for me. And it just completely flopped at the box office, and they couldn't ever. I think it did quite well on like DVD and that kind of stuff afterwards, and it's got a huge like cult following. But my God,
great film!
I would love like if there was any film which would like is perfect for we've got the following there. Let's put the money behind it too, even if it's like a straight to Netflix film, or, you know, whoever it is that kind of backs it. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see what Mega City 1 looks like. And yeah, with the sequel, I think maybe I think everyone would like to see Judge Death. And I don't know how the story will play out, but my God, yeah, it's just this is one of those films. It's just a real shame. It's like, I just want to see more of that world, you know, what we could do with it.
Absolutely.
But that's a good choice.
I now need to go watch that movie again.
Exactly. When you brought this up, and I thought that, I was like, oh my God, I got to go watch Dread again. I've got it on Blu-ray. I need to go give that a rewatch.
All right. What about you?
What a fantastic film. What about me, boys? When I came up with the first topic, obviously I had one movie in mind. It was the Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Absolutely, I'm going to. Because let me tell you, all right, spoilers for the movie. The post-credit scene sets up, obviously, Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, of course, which would be a hype sequel anyway. But what if I told you there's an alternate timeline within the Power Rangers comics of one Lord Draken? So if you don't know, within the comics, which are really good by themselves as well, Lord Draken is Tommy Oliver, who basically embraced the evil and killed all the Rangers. Took the power of both the Green Ranger and the White Ranger to kill the Rangers, and raise like basically an army. Took all the power, gave them to a bunch of army. It's awesome. Like, it's a good storyline. I think a sequel like that. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Adam. You have your hand raised.
Sorry, just a question here.
Go
Wasn't
ahead.
the rules, if there was a post-credit scene, does that not mean they were setting up for a second film? Therefore, your film has already been null and void from the conversation? Because
No, because it doesn't have a sequel, and a sequel is not in development.
what a dick move to put a post-credit scene in there.
Yeah, they obviously wanted to, but the movie underperformed because people didn't see it. Because, they're idiots.
This is the
Whatever.
problem. Like this is the difference as well between Adam's film. Like Adam's got a bona fide classic there, and maybe they just didn't have any intentions to do a sequel, which is good. Like, whereas Power Rangers and Dread they wanted to do it, just underperformed.
I wonder
You guys
what film had
chickened out. You didn't turn up when you were needed.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen with June if you guys don't get your asses to the cinema?
Right? Go watch Dune. Go read Dune, first of all, because it's like a fantastic sci-fi classic anyway. But yeah, go watch that movie.
I wonder what
Sorry,
the first ever film to have
Go
a
ahead.
post-credit scene was.
Ferris
Like
Bueller's,
some-
maybe? I mean, that's the most famous one, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I think that's a good show.
That's worth a Google. But
But you
anyway,
carry on telling your story for the second one.
I will.
Why Google?
yeah, give it a Google. Give it a Google. Yeah, that would be the perfect setup for a sequel that, one, shifts all audience expectations right out the door. You see Tommy Oliver, it's a hype moment. They obviously didn't cast him for the film, the first one, because they were saving it for the sequel. What a great place to take a sequel. Just undermine expectations. You get the setup for Lord Draken, which is a great character in the comics by himself. Because obviously we're dealing with alternate timelines, we're dealing with crazy shit like that. And how else would you pull in other Rangers as well? Like, you have so much to pull from obviously the TV shows. Like, I forget all the variations of Power Rangers there are now. There's like a million. Yeah, what a great opportunity to have a singular bad guy that is, I guess, now as iconic as Lord Draken, and set him up in a sequel to be this overarching villain. Like, obviously, you could go the route of the TV show and just pull out, Lord Zed or whatever, but that would just be something to see. Like, as awesome as that idea is, it's a shame we're not getting a sequel of it. I think it's really the way to go with it too. Like, bring in Tommy Oliver, but bring in the different Tommy Oliver. Bring in the evil one. Make him a villain for potentially multiple films. Who knows?
Okay,
But,
that's
again,
not a bad idea.
great storyline in the comics, which I need to finish. But
But just for I found the information. The first ever post-credit film was in 1966, and it was The Silencers. Was the film? The scene depicts lead character Matt Helm, played by Dean Martin, along with a vast array of beautiful women, and the caption said, "Matt Helm will return." The second film was The Muppet Movie,
I did not expect that, but okay.
where the camera, after the credits, it zoomed out and the Muppets were watching the film.
Like a Simpsons movie
Animal
thing.
yells at the audience, "Go home," before sighing bye-bye and passing out from exhaustion.
it's really surprising that the 007 films didn't do it back in the day, because like when they ended, they would always say, you said like, we'll return. they always would, at the end of the credits they would say like 007 will return in, and it would say the title of the next film because that was already going. That was already in production. They're probably already filming at that point because they're releasing like every other year, wasn't they? At that. So yeah, it would have been really cool back then to see like a little teaser or something, you know, like at the end of the credits. It would have been if they'd, you know, if it was like now, definitely be doing that. But now it takes like 10 years to make a Bond film.
You know, I think they're missing with James Bond. Like they're missing a trick. Like
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba, yeah. But we know this is Daniel Craig's last one. And they should do this with every time James Bond is changing. Don't announce it to the press or anything like that. Have a post-credit scene where it kind of zooms up the tuxedo and shows who the next James Bond is. And that's how they do it. You watch the film, you watch the 20 hours of credits that there are in any MGM Grand film, and then it zooms up. What have they got? Yeah, they're MGM, aren't they? Bond?
Yeah.
And then you see Idris Elba, or if they did whoever could be.
They like to do the whole thing, though, don't they? Like the whole reveal event and all that kind of stuff. Like
a Doctor Who,
yeah.
People go crazy for that stuff.
Who do you think will be the next one? Do you think it'll be Elba?
Oh, no. I don't know who it'll be. Elba. It's always the person you least expect it to be.
I would like it to always thrown about, isn't it?
Yeah, again, I just can't see it happening.
Really? No, I don't see a Tom Hardy.
I would love a Tom Hardy because
I think Tom Hardy would be great.
Played very good. James Bond.
I think it's going to be someone more. Yeah, unexpected. I don't know.
You think they go like younger this time, or like they keep it?
I don't know.
Like older?
I don't know. That's weird.
James Bond can't be too young, can he? That's the
he can't
issue
be,
with this character. He is
can't be too young, but like they really like played on the fact, like in this one, that he was past it. Yeah, he's like he's washed up, he's out of it. Like, but so then do they? I don't know.
That's easier to write a story around, though, isn't it? It's that gunslinger, the last chance. You know, what have they still got left in the tank? It's a much easier story derivative than this is James Bond at his peak. He's going to kill anything that gets in his way. Yeah. It's harder to write. It's harder to write a Bond level story at that. I think Bond works best when he has personal loss and stuff like that. But Bond needs to have. I think what they haven't had in the last few Bonds is the cheesiness that Bond kind of needs to have at times, like the one-liners, which I don't think Daniel Craig's Bond has as many. He does have them, but I don't know.
It's going to be interesting to see where they take it. Like, do they kind of soft reboot it again, or do they
just continue the story? Bond is Bond. Like, just put another Bond in there and let's carry on. It's worked for the last 40, 50 years, 60 years, whatever it is. Like 75, I don't know. Let it keep going. Yeah. But speaking of big film moments, like bigger than any of the others in the world right now.
Are you segueing right now?
Jackass Forever trailer released today.
Yeah,
I have not watched that yet.
Man, I
watched
aged.
Oh yeah,
they have aged.
The bit,
do you know what? Yeah. Still looks good.
The bit with the tarantula in the thing. Nope.
Saw that and thought, this isn't Terry's cup of tea.
But it looks really good.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Like that's.
I'm really sad of the whole like Bam situation. Like it just. But there you go.
So many of them have tried to help him though.
I know. Yeah.
So much you can do.
Right. They can't all be Steve-O.
No, Steve has turned his life around.
It's just sad. Like when you see what happened with with Ryan Dunn and like it's like. Just Bam in general, like what's happened like to him is just like really shitty situation. But no, it's good to see them back. It's good to see them back. I mean, I'd love Jackass. Just something about them. Like I remember seeing that first film when it came out, where it's just so good,
so good. I might have to go back and watch the Jackass films.
Yeah,
there's like four of them, right?
This is the fourth one. This is why Jackass Forever.
Yeah,
it's called the final one.
Jackass just takes me back to a different time.
Man, I remember watching it on MTV.
Yeah, that was the early 90s, yeah.
Me and my friends, we used to make our own ones. So I had like a video camera And we'd just be going down the streets, like doing our own like stunts and pranks and stuff like that. And
it was basically just jumping into bushes. And that was basically it. Yeah, everyone thought they could do the next Jackass, but you're like 12 years old, so you can't. But yeah, so anyway, I thought that was cool news.
Yeah,
that's cool news. But this isn't the news, Adam. That's saved for Friday, hosted by our one and only Terry Jeffs, where we all sit down and break down the week's news for you. And of course, we'll be back on Wednesday with another Shifty Crab podcast. What are we doing next week, Adam?
Oh, good question, Vince. I think, do you know what? It is time for Shifterton to rise from the ashes of Emily is Away too. You know, he tried his best, but he fucked up. Shifterton fucked us.
Fucked up.
I think it is time
for
Shifterton to reclaim his stake. And he's gonna go for it in Emily is Away 3.
Ooh, cannot wait for that. And if you at home cannot wait for that as well, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a second of our content. Speaking of the content, we're also over on your favorite podcast service as well. So if you don't want to sit down and watch probably it's been like 2 hours worth of content, you can listen to it on they don't want to see you wipe your face every 5 seconds.
Oh, man. Hang on. What's the temperature? We need flames. We need flames.
We're over.
We need flames.
We over the 100?
Let me just do the calculation.
Make sure.
101.
Wow.
101. Wow. Well, it's a good thing it's the end of the podcast, so you only have to edit just a little bit of flames here.
Adam's literally in his room 101.
I'm in room 101.
Room 101.
This sucks. But it's been a pleasure to be here.
Of course. It's always a pleasure. Never a chore.
Never a chore.
Look at you.
Well, you're the host. You don't get to say it, Vince.
I'm the host. I have been your host, Vince Haley. And I have also been joined by Mr. Terry Jeffs. It's been a pleasure, Mr. Terry.
It has been a real pleasure, but it would be even more a pleasure if you made Dread 2. Make it happen. Make it happen.
Please make it happen.
People that have the power, pull some strings, get it done.
Get Carl Urban back because he's fantastic and everything.
Has to be Carl Urban?
Carl Urban?
Yeah.
That's the
absolutely.
It's gotta be.
And a big thank you to Mr. Adam Very, who is literally dying in a blaze of fire right now.
Hey, you guys! Bring back Goonies 2.
Come on, do the truffle shuffle. Do the truffle shuffle.
Yeah,
I'm not doing the I think that might get that's for my OnlyFans.
Okay, there you go. I'll plug that too while you're here. No.
When we set up our Patreon, that could be at the silver tit.
That's true.
Every month you get a truffle shuffle.
Okay.
See, now, if you add the flames, you have to add a speech bubble that says "This is fine."
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do the meme.
Let me see if I can get into the position of where you'd be for that.
Yeah, do that
a little bit,
and then we'll throw it up on social media.
Yeah,
there we go. That's it. You've nailed it. Speaking of our social media, be sure to follow us on Twitter @CrabShifty, and as always, stay shifty.